Here's a question that I'm sure we've all had some personal experience of, because the more forthright you are as a man in doing your duty to publicly profess the truths of the Catholic faith, the more some people in your life won't like it. They don't want to hear the truth. Sometimes, although it eventually heals people, the truth hurts at first, especially to someone whose life is not in line with it. So, what is the best way to deal with close friends canceling you for your views on feminism? David says, I never knew cancellation could hit so fast and hard before it happened to me on a personal level. Talking about losing friends. I want to start the discussion off here by saying that Aquinas, in his commentary on Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics, says that we must prefer truth to friends. And in fact, you're being a true friend to someone when you give them the truth, because that's what the human mind needs. We're not built for lies and falsehoods. So you will lose people just by doing what is good for them in the moment sometimes. You've got to do it with tact, but accept that sometimes it can happen. Tim, what do you think?
I don't think I've ever shared this publicly. I've insinuated it some without going into any detail, but I as a joint Californian Texan, I really am a Californian native, but for middle school, high school, college, I was in Texas, and my whole crew there, guys I played in a band with, and all my friends who I shared growing up with from middle school on, basically circled the wagons on the guy in the group that was my best friend who was remarrying a divorced girl. And this was going on during the 2014-2015 synods on the family, which was all about the Sunkalin Mafia plan to get divorce into the Catholic Church, to get communion to the divorced and civilly remarried. And I said, look, I'm trying to be tactful, man. But like, if you're going to marry this girl that is married to someone else in God's eyes, and you're not interested in getting an annulment, I can't be around you. I'd be no better than Nick Carraway going around with Tom Buchanan and his concubine, and Daisy Buchanan with the guy she's cheating with, which is Gatsby. And I wake up every morning and read 1 Peter 5. What's going on at the synod? This is evil. I have to follow through. It's harder to look your friends in the eyes and say, I can't be around you and this girl. Even if you get married, she'll still be a concubine. And all the guys shunned me for it. So I did try to be tactful, more tactful than guys like us are known for being, maybe publicly. And you know what? The tact doesn't work when you're telling someone things they don't want to hear. You get shunned anyway. Same thing in my own family, because we higher up with the grandparents, they have divorce and remarriage. Family reacts similarly to even mild statements of, divorce and remarriage. That's not real marriage. So it's a plague in society. You asked about feminism, but this has been the issue that's gotten me kicked out of some of my most, I am being just emotionally honest now, my most intimate circles is the divorce issue, because divorcees get remarried and they ask you to be in on their lie. Certain other things involving pronouns now. Join my lie. And if you're like, I can't, then you're out of the circle. Bismarck. So the truth requires sacrifice. That's what Aristotle says.
Yep. Thanks for the honest answer, Tim. Important for people to hear that. And this stuff is no joke. Living out Christianity is calling you to be a hero and go through all kinds of difficult experiences like this. I feel like this aspect of the faith has been really undersold to men, that it's hard. It will transform you into more of a man if you can actually do it, because it needs you to have a spine. It's about practicing this fortitude. You hear about facts over feelings from guys like Tate and get pumped up with it. Well, Tim's given you an anecdote there about how staying true to the facts in matters of faith and morals, as articulated by the church, matters more even than his own feelings. The pain of having to impose this divide between him and a close friend. So when Christ talks about coming to set brother against brother, son against father, this is it. Elliot, you had a great Instagram reel recently about how, because of some of the stuff you say on YouTube, much of which is on this podcast, there are people in your life who don't take kindly to some of your views. And your response was basically, so be it, because this is the truth.
Yeah, maybe I'm not being charitable, but I don't care. I mean, that's really where it's at with me. I'm going to say what I believe. I'm going to share my opinion when asked. For the most part, though, if you don't ask me, I'm not even going to talk to you about it. But if you come to me, like Tim, that situation with the marriages and stuff, I'm sure I'll face that at some point. Well, then you're asking me to engage in your lie. Now I have to say something. Otherwise, I'm not going to get involved. Now, if you're going to cancel me because of my beliefs, well, you're no better than a bigot. They would say that I'm a bigot because I don't want to go to your gay marriage or whatever like that. But you're a bigot. And so I just let them be. I don't let it bother me. I don't get involved. I don't try to change anybody's mind. Maybe it would be more charitable for me to admonish them and try to change them and try to convince them or, lovingly rebuke them. But for the most part, I'm so self-centered. Just being honest that like, hey, look, do you? And if you ask my opinion, I'm going to tell you the truth. But otherwise, leave me alone.
Yep, that's the hard truth of it. And you got to remember that there are people who, even though we don't cut them out of our lives, will leave our lives because they cut themselves out. And they might be people who are close to you, but they are giving you a signal there that they're actually a spiritual danger to you and to your kids if you have that intimate long-term relationship with them, because they've heard the truth, they've rejected it. So it can be better that some of these people are actually out of your life. It's sad, and it's not what you would wish for, but it can be better. Tim?
Yeah, so like, because you're saying stuff that's so close to the bone, I'll just share a little more. Like, the divorce issue is a big one in our time. And, my parents have been together forever and have a great marriage. But on both sides of the family, I'm downstream of divorce in a third generational way. And I got in trouble with the family for saying, like, look, even 2 generations down from divorce, look at the havoc it's still wreaking on the family. I wrote my grandfather and like was just trying to be honest and got cut out of a will and shunned and stuff. So the divorce issue, even though my parents are best friends and really, really close, I'm not a child of divorce, but my mom was. And look how it's influenced me in both my life with my childhood group of friends and my extended family, even coming from a non-divorced household, 1 generation up. So the point is, it's a lonely road, and I'm only sharing so much, which I typically play a little closer to the vest, because you mentioned my boy Aristotle, and he says, I love Plato. He's talking about Plato, who's his teacher and his friend, and he's like, I love Plato, but I love the truth more. And the truth is Jesus Christ and the Logos. And you'll hear liberal priests deliver sermons that Jesus, he wouldn't have said what he said about divorce in Matthew's gospel if he lived in 2023. I've heard a priest say that, and it's like, no, Jesus was God. He knows. We have to be with him, even if it alienates most of our family and friends or all of our family and friends. It's a lonely road to walk at times, and I've walked it, but I'd be no better than just what do people hate about politicians? They're just talking heads. They don't live this stuff through. It's like, you gotta see it to the end. You gotta run your race. And if you're gonna talk the talk, you gotta walk the walk. But it's a lonely road, and you gotta be prepared to walk it if you're a man.
That's it. And when Elliot said that he will just tell the truth, he doesn't care, another way to see it would be that you're actually telling the truth because you do care. you do care enough to take this pain on yourself and to impose it on them because it's for their spiritual good. You speak the truth for their spiritual good, because who knows, 10 years down the line, they might think, you know what, Elliot was right. He was actually pretty wise. And I appreciate the fact that he said that to me, even though at the time I couldn't take it. And I want everyone listening to this conversation from my two friends here to understand that this is the way that feminism often gets into men's lives, through the women in their lives, in their families in particular, because it's about saying, can't we all just agree to disagree? Can't we all just be friends and hug and make up? It doesn't really matter what we think. And you just get into this mushy realm where it's all about feelings and the well-being of everybody in the moment rather than what the truth actually is. And it takes a man to be able to make a stand and say, no, look, Christ came to bring a sword to cut through truth and falsehood. And that's what I'm here to do as well. You'll be told things like, you're so intolerant, it's your way or the highway. But really, it's not our way. It's the way of the God-man who said that I am the way, the truth, and the life. And this is the way that you want all your friends and family to be on. So you have to articulate it.